Hi guys, Will Terry here, and this video is going to be made in my truck. and I just want to really get this one out today. How I found my next picture book in the hot tub. This is part of the playlist of how to make a money-making art project, and this is video number 2 in that series. And I'm just going to be sharing my story on how I started this brand new picture book and how I'm going to market it. And so if you haven't watched that first one, I'll put a link in the description below. But anyway, I'm just going to talk about how I settled on this project. Before I do, I just want to tell you that at the end of this video, I'm going to explain a lot more about the art school that I started with Jake Parker and Lee White. So many of you know, if you've been following my channel, that moved down here to a 55 plus community in Arizona with my wife Lily, and kind of wanted to get a new start, a new beginning after the death of my wife Lori. And so anyway, we moved down here and kind of got into tennis, and I couldn't play racquetball anymore. There was no racquetball around here, and this is going to be really relevant to the story on how I settled on this project. And then we found pickleball, and we've gotten way into pickleball. It's a really fast growing sport. And so in doing so, we were playing one night and met this guy named Paul and had some fun playing. And then later that night, we went to the hot tub to unwind, and there was Paul again. And so as we're talking, you know, I'm asking him what he does, and you know, he's actually, I saw that he had a van with a logo on the side, and he's actually a sales rep for one of the major paddle manufacturers. And so then he asked me what I did, and I said, well, I'm a children's book illustrator. And he got all excited and all animated and was like, you know, and he tells me, you know, how connected he is in the pickleball community and in the industry at a whole. He came from tennis, but he knows, he's at every major event. He knows all the manufacturers. He's even friends with Andre Agassi and Andy Roddick, and yeah, those are tennis players. And but he says one of the things that the major manufacturers are talking about is it's known as a sport for the elderly, right? I mean, like it's like the kids say, well, that's a sport that my grandparents play, but they're trying to figure out how to get more and more kids into pickleball. And he says, you know, a children's book for pickleball would be amazing. It would you know, be something that helped introduce kids at an early age. And I started thinking about it, and I'm like, huh, interesting. I bet that there's not too many children's books out there for pickleball. And so we're talking, and he's telling me, yeah, I could be a real help to you in introducing a book like that. If you wanted to pursue something like that, I could get it in front of the who's who in all the major brands, and also the leaders of all the events. And of course, it's grandparents that attend those events, it's parents that attend those events, and I think people would love to have a book for children's books. And so anyway, it's kind of funny that, and one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you guys about this and the genesis of this is something that I've been doing for over a year, is playing pickleball. And it's something that I wasn't thinking of on my own. It took someone else to say, hey, you might want to consider this. In considering it, I went home, I looked on Amazon. There were hardly any picture books on pickleball. There's a few attempts. I don't want to disparage them, but they're very amateur. And so there's really nothing. There's just really no competition there. And this is a niche where I really highly doubt that any of the major publishers are going to be looking for. You know, I mean, I just don't think that it's something that they're going to want to compete with, because they're probably going to think it's too small. Now, maybe some smaller publishers might get into this industry, but that's okay. So I'm thinking, you know, it's untapped. it might be the perfect thing. I know about the sport. I can write some of those things into the story. And by the way, I'm going to be sharing with you the artwork as I'm working on it, the story, everything. And so, I'll get feedback from you guys as well. But anyway, I'm thinking, well, this is perfect. This is something I know about. I'm passionate about, I'm excited about, and I could probably figure out how to write a story along those lines. And so that's what I did in the next 2 weeks. Is I really started to work on a story, and what I wanted to do was come up with a story idea that would appeal to people that are in pickleball as well as people that don't know anything about it. I wanted the story to stand on its own. I didn't want it to be I didn't want it to be too technical. I wanted it to be every kid's story basically. And so what I came up with was the kind of the hero's journey story arc that you see in a lot of sports movies, where you have an underdog who figures out a way to be able to compete with, what's the opposite of underdog? Overdogs? Are they overdogs? with the people that are already really good. And so that's what I think I figured out. That's kind of the story, and I'll be sharing more specifics of that as we go along. So I started to pitch the idea before I really started working on it. I started asking around, because in this community, and by the way, Arizona is kind of a hub for pickleball. It's kind of the most popular place for pickleball because of the weather, even though today it's raining. But it's an amazing place. So the who's who of pickleball either lives here or comes through here all the time. And so I've been, rubbing elbows with some of the people that are really connected. And I know a couple of people who sell merchandise at the major events. They have booths and they sell, and so I've got one guy who already wants to take my books when I get them done and sell them. So there's already a little bit of interest there in that I can sell or have people sell at these events. It's something I know a little bit about, having done the comic convention scene, although I don't personally want to go and sit at events and sell books. I'm not planning on doing that myself at all. But I would love to find people that want a new product to sell. And I've already got one lined up who is really successful selling and who wants to sell these books. So that's kind of exciting. Then I played pickleball with a guy who is the head of an RV, the biggest RV association in the U.S. And I can't remember the name of it, but he'd kill me if he was watching this. But he's the president, and he invited me to come sell books at their national convention next year. And he says they have 4,000 people that attend. So there will be a lot of people there, and most of them play pickleball. So anyway, there's that. There's things that are starting to happen marketing wise. Now on the next video, I'm going to definitely share with you one of my main marketing, or probably two of my main marketing strategies that don't include these smaller things. But anyway, yeah. So I'm wondering, for you guys, what kind of a niche do you have that you have expertise in, or that you're passionate about, that maybe you could leverage, that you're not going to be competing with the big publishers on for a children's book idea? Now you'll be able to see and watch me through my journey as I go through this book. And I'll share, like I said before, I'll share my sales data. I'll share everything, costs and gross revenue and net revenue and things like that. I'm not going to share with you the title of the book just yet. I'm going to wait till I actually have books and it's actually online and published and everything. And the reason for that is I made a playlist on my YouTube channel a couple years ago. Well, I started like 4 years ago, on how to table at comic conventions. And I shared from the very beginning, when I didn't know what I was doing, all the way through the middle and the end when I was doing really well. And and then I was doing well enough, I guess, that I had someone copy my booth exactly, and my art style, and even some of my art concepts. And I mean, it looked like an identical booth. And I had a friend come up at Tucson and go, I saw you're here. You're over on aisle, whatever it was. And I'm like, no, I'm not over there. And he goes, yeah, you are. Your booth. I saw your booth over there. And I'm like, no, I'm not over there. We haven't set up yet. And it turned out there was someone that just copied my booth that closely that a friend of mine thought that it was my stuff over there. And so I don't want that kind of competition with my book title. I don't want someone publishing, rushing something out. Not to say that I have the best title or anything, but why take a chance, right? So I'll share that when I have the book published. But anyway, on the next video, I'm going to share with you the other main marketing strategy that I'm going to have and why, and kind of go break that stuff down. And then I'll also be sharing with you the artwork in future videos as I'm producing it, things that I'm planning for the book, and just basically everything. So go ahead and continue on this playlist if it's something that interests you. Don't subscribe, don't click like unless you want to see more content like this. And if you want to learn about my online illustration school for children's book illustrators, graphic novelists, then stay tuned or keep watching. Okay, I said I would talk about this at the end of the video, and so here we are. I'm not going to take a lot of time with this, but some of you know that I created an online art school along with Jake Parker and Lee White. It's called SVSLearn.com. It's specifically designed for illustrators who want to increase their skills. So we have a lot of illustrators in university art programs or art schools who take our courses as supplemental. We have a lot of students who take this instead of going to art school. The beauty is that you can do this on your own time, in your own home, on your own schedule, and maybe you don't have an art school close by that you want to go to. And the biggest advantage is the fraction of the price. It's only $25 a month. It's going up in January 1st. So this is November of 2022. It's going to go up in a couple of months. So tell your friends that it's going to be going up, because those people who are in at the $25, it's like $24.99 or something like that per month, are going to stay at that price. We're not going to increase the rate on the people that have been supporting us, but the price will go up for new subscribers. And I just want to show you really quick here, right here, a guided curriculum. We put together a full foundations program. So everything that you need is in, you start with level 1 and you've got how to draw everything with Jake Parker. All your perspective and drawing classes, basic light and shadow, and introduction to color theory is all in there. And then level 2, you get into some of the more important things, more advanced drawing, character design, stylizing human characters. And all of this is to help you become a children's book illustrator or a graphic novel illustrator. Even comic book illustrators find all this stuff very helpful. It's everything that you need, all the tools that you need to become a children's book illustrator. And a lot of people are taking the foundations before they take our big, robust Children's Book Pro class. So the Children's Book Pro class is not included in the subscription. That's a premium class that's designed to give you all the knowledge for making a children's book, for getting involved in the children's book industry, working with publishers and agents and all of that stuff. But this is the foundations level that you need before you get into that. So I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. Again, we are at svslearn.com. You can go there and check it out. And again, we've got the free trial for 14 days. So there you go. I've loved working on this project. I've loved working with Jake and Lee and all the other teachers that we've had involved in this project. It's been a lifelong passion. We've been doing this for, I think, close to 10 years now. And our students love it. And so there you go. So that's another thing that I do.